Hi everyone, this is Sam with the Wine News in 5. Before I get to global news, next week is Burgundy Week in London, which means that Jancis, Julia, and Tam will be tasting the soon-to-be released, though in many cases not yet bottled, 2023's Nonstop. Our tasting note database will be updated daily from Monday with their reviews, which, along with reviews from our man in Burgundy, Matthew Hayes, should help you with buying decisions. You can also find a free list of London merchants who are currently making offers on 2023 Burgundy on the site. Also, a quick reminder that the re-release of Vintner's Tales has continued on our YouTube channel. Yesterday we posted a 1992 episode featuring Far Vintners Stephen Browett and Lindsay Hamilton. While Hamilton left the company in 2008, Browett celebrated 4 decades with the company last year. And it's kind of funny to watch someone who's now such a mainstay of the London wine trade talk about being regarded as an upstart. On to the news. Today I'll discuss a statement from the Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of America regarding the FTC versus Southern Glazer's lawsuit, updates to Bordeaux's Blaye appellation, 13 new sizes for wine packaging in the US, and a new technology which could help combat downy mildew. First up, an update on the Southern Glazer's lawsuit. As I discussed in this newscast on December 14th, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, recently sued Southern Glazers, the largest alcohol distributor in the US, for price discrimination. The FTC alleges that Southern Glazers had deprived small independent retailers of discounts and rebates and had given preferential treatment to large retailers. On January 6th, the WSA, the Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of America, announced that they were seeking further clarification from the FTC on the actions taken against one of their members. In their statement, they take issue with the FTC for targeting volume-based discounts. They do not acknowledge that the FTC has clarified that volume discounts are not illegal, but are required to be tied to clear cost savings on the side of the supplier, which, according to the FTC's investigation, Southern's discounts far exceeded. The statement also claims that the WSWA supports the 21st Amendment, granting states the right to regulate alcohol distribution, and says, and I quote, "We urge policymakers, including the incoming Trump administration, to remain steadfast in their commitment to fostering American business growth." I'd like to remind the WSWA that small businesses are businesses. And I'd also like to point out to anyone curious that, as well as being a member of the WSWA, Southern holds 2 out of 13 of WSWA's leadership and staff positions. On to updates to Bordeaux's Blaye AOP. Except it's not Blaye AOP anymore, it's Blavia AOP. The official cahier des charges for this small appellation on the east side of the Gironde was updated on December 19th. In addition to the name change, the updates state that within the boundaries of the AOP, previously known as Blaye, producers will now need to be located on parcels of land that meet the criteria of the National Institute of Origin and Quality, the INAO. They'll also need to submit a request to be included in Blavia AOP by March 31st. Malbec has been elevated from an accessory variety to a main variety alongside Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and Merlot. Regulations related to vineyard management and blending of wines have also been updated. Honestly, I find this piece of news really bizarre. I can't figure out what the intended impact is. Producers are going to have to reapply for an AOP that they may no longer be able to qualify for if they're not on an approved parcel. Meanwhile, Google results for Blavia turn up a genus of bots, a skincare company, a clothing company, a TV analyst, and a trivia game about black entertainment, but nothing about wine. If I were a producer, I might decide to simply label as Bordeaux. On to 13 new sizes for wine packaging in the US. Thank you to my colleague Alder Yarrow for reporting on this piece of news on his website Vinography. Prior to today, January 10th, wine producers in the US were limited to bottling wine in 187 milliliter single servings, 375 milliliter half bottles, 500 milliliter bottles, 750 milliliter bottles, and large formats, 1.5, 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15 liters. As of today, the TTB, the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, have added 13 new packaging sizes starting with 180 milliliters up to 2.25 liters. Apparently, the alternative to this change in regulation was to eliminate federal standards for fill, but the TTB received enough comments in opposition that they determined the 13 additional fill sizes were the better option. The reason for this is that many states defer to federal standards, and eliminating these standards would put producers at the mercy of each individual state's legislation, which sounds horrific and makes me oddly grateful for federal regulation of packaging sizes. Possible benefits to this change could include packaging innovations, specifically new forms of alternative packaging, and that producers will be able to more closely tailor serving sizes to consumer demand. Finally, a new environmentally friendly way to combat downy mildew. Like most plants, vines are prone to attacks from a multitude of bacteria, fungi, and pests. Some infections are more difficult to manage than others. Downy mildew, which is technically an omocyte, is a fungus-like organism, is difficult to manage because treatments are largely inorganic systemic fungicides whose residues can show up in wine, or are fungicides which use copper, which is a heavy metal. And while even certified organic grape growers are allowed to use copper, it builds up in the soils and at a certain level limits plant growth and yield and does long-term damage to microbial populations in the soil. It was therefore very good news when ImmuneRise, a small biocontrol company in Bordeaux, discovered a microscopic algae in 2016 that, when tested by the National Institute for Agronomic Research, INRA, in a lab environment, was shown to be 100% effective against downy mildew and 50% effective against botrytis and some of the fungal strains that cause the grapevine disease ESCA. Over the last few years, this product has undergone trials. On January 7th, the French publication Vitisphere reported the results. The algae was first tested in Italy in a vineyard artificially inoculated with downy mildew. The treatment was 85% effective in managing the mildew, whereas the copper-based fungicide commonly referred to as Bordeaux mixture was 94% effective. The product then underwent field trials in Langon and Fronsac in southwest France. The trials showed that using ImmuneRise, in addition to conventional treatments such as those including copper, allowed growers to reduce their use of conventional treatments by around 2/3 without affecting the yield. The company is currently awaiting sensory analysis on the wines made from these test plots. If trials continue to go well, the company expects this product to be approved for commercial use in 2029. That's all for this episode of the Wine News. If you enjoy this newscast and you'd like to see it continue, please subscribe to jancesrobinson.com. And if you have breaking news in your area, please email news@jancesrobinson.com. Thanks.